everybody, and welcome back to the AC's Jeremy Plays Kerbal Space Program. Now, if you'll remember last night, we managed to finish off a really nice mission where we were supposed to orbit Gilly in a very specific way. And with that done, we went ahead and picked up a brand new set of missions here. So, it looks like we've got a couple of test missions here. Need to test a thud and a nerve. So, let's see what we've got. Okay, we've got the thud liquid fuel engine and the nerve atomic rocket motor. I really want to be able to get these in a regular mission, or in the regular progression of science unlocks, because those things are actually really nice for interplanetaries. Okay. So the easiest way to do this is going to be take a tiny little fuel tank. Now we've got that and that. And then we take the fuel tank and we totally empty the bloody thing, because I am not going to have this thing get off the ground. But since it's simply a test, then this will actually be fairly easy. And let's see, which test number are we up to anyway? This will be tester 6. So, go ahead and launch. That's a fairly cheap way to just get these out of the way. And there we go. That's both of those test missions taken care of, so we can recover the vessel. And we actually get most of its value back because of that. Okay, now we need to position a satellite in a specific orbit of Eve. Science data from surface of Eve, science data from surface of Gilly. Explore Eve. Yeah, that's pretty much the same as science data from surface of Eve. So we may be able to take care of all. No, unfortunately we won't. But this one right here, we may be able to take care of pretty easily anyway. And we should be able to use our Gilly orbiter with a few minor modifications for most of the rest of this. So, let's go and take a look at the Gilly orbiter. Open. Now, we've got the orbiter that made it all the way to Gilly. Load it up. Okay. Now let us see here. As far as those minor modifications go, so we have as far as power options now. I'm actually going to replace these two solar panels with, let me see, that's the 1x6. I want the 3x2s on here. Put in some angle locking. I mainly want to be able to retract these and land them on Gilly. Or, correction, on Eve. Okay. That way we can use them for power after we land. Now comes the fun part. Mounting some parachutes to this whole thing. I know it's getting a little bit crowded in there. Okay. Is there any place else I can stick a parachute? No, not without getting in something's way. Okay. So this thing should actually be able to get all the way to Eve fairly easily, as is. So I'm going to redub this my Eve lander. Go ahead and save it. Let's see what else we've got available to us here. Um, hmm. Got all of that already. I am actually really tempted to go ahead and replace those. Yeah. Because drag is, as always, the enemy of any proper space mission. And if I can reduce my drag as much as possible, unfortunately you have to get the right angle when you're trying to mount these things. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it with all of these, but we will see. Okay, there we go. I don't really want to mess with these because I've got those structural connectors on them. Okay. And I could technically use the protective shell, but since I've got all this stuff on top of here, I just don't know if that's really going to be the best idea. Yeah, I'll try it out on another design sometime. Okay. We got our heat shield there, which will help out a lot when we're trying to make our way into Eve's atmosphere. Let me set these suckers up properly. And since they're not both, or since they're not put on there symmetrically, then I actually do have to worry about setting each one separately. Now, okay, fire that sucker. That sucker goes off. No, I do not want those parachutes triggering or staging immediately after I fire that thing. Okay. See what else we've got going on here. Nothing else I'm really willing to mess with at the moment. Although I have been experimenting in another game using the monopropellant and the RCS linears. Those things are just bloody nice. Okay. So we now have our Eve lander. So let's see what happens. Now, if you'll remember, the primary thing that we learned from getting all the way to Gilly was that you need to be patient. Don't try to rush it, just patient and steady. So, launch. Coming up on 2 G's of actual thrust there. Getting that minor wobble, but it should get under control as we approach Mach 1. Yeah, there we go. Coming up on Mach 2, atmosphere's thinning out. Coming up on solid rocket burnout. There we go. Clean separation. Okay, still doing pretty good right now. Still plowing atmosphere, but it is definitely thinning out right now. Let's see how we're doing. Okay, apoapsis is officially above the level of the atmosphere, so we are doing good there. Gonna try to go for a 45-degree angle here, or as close as I can get to it, so we can continue building our orbit. Coming up on atmospheric limit. Still accelerating, that should go up as soon as we get out of atmosphere and the further we get away from the gravity well. It's one of the reasons that I really wish that I had orbital space docks. Although I have seen some really cool stuff with sending up multiple packages, putting them together in orbit, and then using that to travel. I think that one was actually going to Eve, so that was a pretty cool video to watch. That's actually where I saw a lot of the RCS use. Okay, still got a good bit of fuel going on here. And passing Mach 3. Actually going to angle down to prograde here and try to just build my orbit as well as I can. oscillating like all hell for some reason. It's that front section. As soon as our engines burn out, it should start to damp. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now let's see how we're doing here. Actually doing pretty darn good. Okay. So let's zoom out here and figure out where Eve is. There we go. Set that as our target. Then zoom back in. And continue building our orbit. Okay, it seems as though we've corrected for whatever inclination we picked up on takeoff. We're heading pretty much equatorially at the moment. Now I'm just going to worry about building an orbit here. So I actually don't want my apoapsis getting too terribly unreasonable. But I need to get my periapsis up to above, say, about 100,000 meters, 100 kilometers. Okay. Now I really would like to exit more or less towards the sun, which means that I actually need to exit somewhere in that direction. So I need to come over to here, which only takes me a few minutes at this orbital velocity. Then get back around to prograde, which is going to take me a few minutes. Well, a few seconds at least, as I torque around on my, yeah, those things, the reaction wheels. And go ahead and turn up my thrusters, settle in on prograde, and start pushing my apoapsis way the hell out there. I doubt if I'm going to get any MUN assistance, or for that matter, MINMUS assistance here. Okay, Mach 9, doing pretty good. Now I'll slow down my thrusting as my orbit starts to cross the orbit of the MUN, just in case I might be able to pull a G assist out of this. Because you never know. Crap. Let me see if I can't get that to agree with me again. I think just a touch of retrograde will probably give me the escape vector I'm looking for. That's sad, I'm slowing down to escape. Come on. And this is the problem with using reaction wheels on a large vessel. is the damn thing corners like it's on rails. Okay, that has a curb and escape, more or less in the direction we want to go. So we'll use that, mainly because it still leaves us with plenty of fuel to work with as soon as we get away from Kerbin. Provided that, yeah, still have nearly 300,000 meters separation from the Mun. It's always something to take a look at whenever you're doing a gravity assist is how close do you come to the body that you're planning on boosting off of. Now, I really don't want to cross this line with too much acceleration going on, because with too much acceleration, physics can get a little wonky. I'd actually prefer to cross the line with no acceleration. There we go. Now we get pulled in towards the Mun and spat back out the other side. Okay. Now we're going to get pulled in towards Kerbin and we'll swing around and head on out. Just about in the direction I was hoping to. So I'm willing to take that. Okay. Now let's see what we've got going on here. Angle's not too terribly bad. I actually want to get away from Kerbin at least a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and warp around to there. We'll travel back and forth within the influence of Kerbin for a little bit until our orbits really start to separate. I'm going to have to get rid of some of these probes soon. There's entirely too many of those suckers going around. Now we're coming up on an ascending node, which means that we're going to need to find anti-normal and then thrust to correct our orbital angle. And anti-normal should be, I think, this direction. Oh, and while I'm thinking about it, before I end up losing power horribly, let me go ahead and extend my panels so I can get plenty of power coming in. Okay. Now, pin that, and let's go find us some anti-normal. Point 8, 1.7, 1.5, 1.3. Fortunately, the node is running away from me now. 1.4 or 0.4. Yeah, that's not too terribly bad. Let's take a closer look at this. Hello, Willis 460. How are you doing? Actually, going to come around to, no, not there, here, and adjust from there. Right now I'm just working on trying to get a probe to Eve. Bloody thing's got to land too. Not too bad, considering that I'm not working on the exact same mission I've been trying to do for the past 4 or 5 nights that I've done this. I finally pulled it off last night. So, this is actually a brand new set of missions. Okay. Now I am going to need to find myself retrograde, wherever it happens to be. And then I can start pulling my orbit in towards Eve. No, that is prograde. Okay. Pulling it in really well. Think I ended up with a little bit of angle manipulation there, but hopefully it won't be too bad. Okay, I'll bring my thrusters back down, and let's warp around to there. Biggest thing as always is just being patient with this. So you play much KPS? Or KSP, sorry. Kerbal Space Program. Okay. Now I need to tighten up my orbit, so I'll be circling around inside Eve, and therefore I should be more or less catching up with it. Why'd you have to get rid of it? Ah, yeah. That can certainly screw over a lot. Okay. No. stop that. Warp to there, and I'll open up my orbit a little bit more on that end so that I start getting potential intercepts again. If you don't mind me asking, from where to where? Okay. Where's Olympia? It's not. I feel like I should know it, but it's just not ringing any bells at the moment. Ah, it's not a terribly big move. Smaller place? Ah, yeah, I can understand that. Okay. There we go. Now we can get rid of this big ass thing on our back there. And we should start getting some more agreeable, uh, yeah, we're starting to catch up with it now. Each orbit will get a lot closer. Yeah, when I was 9, my parents decided to move pretty much across the whole country. So 3,000 miles, that was one hell of a move. Sucked too, but it's not like I had much of a say in it at the time. And it was for the best, in all honesty. Yeah, we moved from California to Alabama. Yeah. Yeah, we went from the hotbed of social and technological development to, oh my god, haven't you people ever heard of a computer? It could have been worse. At least they still spoke mostly the same language. Okay, now let's see about adjusting this and hopefully... Nope, wrong direction. What I'm basically trying to do at the moment is roll this orbit around. Nope, only so much. Okay, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that easily at the moment, so I'm not going to bother. Yeah. It's mainly the culture shock that ends up getting you in the end. It's just kind of hard to imagine that there's some places as bass-ackwards as this, but from what I hear, there's actually worse. So, suppose I shouldn't bitch too much. At least I can still have contact with people that are somewhat intelligent. Okay, getting a lot better movement now. I'm going to try to adjust my orbital angle. There we go. And now the node's running away from me. In all honesty, I don't think I've tried using them. Of course, I've just been playing careers, so I haven't really been doing a lot of the sandbox stuff yet. Okay. I'm going to go back to just cycling orbits at this point. Oh, spaceplanes, in all honesty, just annoy the hell out of me. Because I never seem to get the damn things to work right. They're always so frigging wonky, and I mean, most of the time mine just explode the moment that I light off the engines. It's okay, man. You should see me try to type some days. Okay. Yeah, I really like making ridiculously large spacecraft, kind of like this one. Starts off with two skippers on a side by, or actually it's three skippers on a side by side. The two on the outside and 8 solid rocket boosters, the kickbacks, all fire off to get it off the ground. And then I use the 2 skippers to pretty much establish an orbit and start getting myself out away from Kerbin. I pretty much use this design. Oh yeah, that it will. But yeah, this is a bare modification of a ghillie orbiter that I had. So it should be able to do an eve landing. Of course, I mainly just learned that I had to be patient and wait for the right orbit. Asparagus stage? I'm assuming that that's a typo unless you tell me otherwise. No, I do stage. I'm just not entirely sure as to what you mean by asparagus staging. And staging is kind of something that you really can't do without. Okay. Yeah, it does. Okay. Let's see if we can't add a maneuver here that won't cost us too terribly much in the way of fuel. And may even give us a decent intercept. Crap. Okay, closest approach is coming down like all hell. Okay. Oh. Yeah, I've actually seen that done, but I haven't done it myself. And it may be something that I try to do before too much longer. Okay, that is going to do me absolutely no good. Yeah. For that matter, I've actually thought about doing that with the solid rocket boosters. Set some of them to burn at a slower rate than others, and then drop the fast burners off as I go. Man, this thing is going to take a hell of a lot of thrust to get me there, and I know it. Okay. But I should be able to maintain 4 minutes of thrust, provided that's all that this really takes. And of course, I overshot the damn thing. Ah, cool. Good to know. Here's to hoping that I can maintain that much thrust for that long. Yeah, I should even end up with a good bit of fuel afterwards. I stream every night except Sundays when I do it in the morning instead. Um, I stream this 2 nights a week. This past Saturday, I started doing Master of Orion for my Saturday stream, and Monday and Tuesday, I do Factorio. Right now, my best friend and I are getting together Wednesdays and Sundays most weeks, and we're currently doing a Civ 5 stream. Not sure what we're going to do after that, but should be interesting if nothing else. Also, Monday, I have a tendency of doing a lot of streams in the morning, and I'm hoping to pick up a an SC stream um, uh, next week for my Monday morning streams. So I'm trying to stream as much as I can. It's just hard to sit here for more than an hour. If you'll look down in the comments section, that's actually the video that I had last night, and it has links to our Twitter and Facebook. Not to mention, you can check out all the other videos that we've done. Okay, we are bringing that separation down really frigging well. And we now have an encounter. Okay. It won't even leave us with a horribly screwed up orbit afterwards. Been doing this, God, it feels like forever, but I think it's only been about a month, if that. Okay, what is our current periapsis to Eve? Not too bad. Yeah, still got a good bit of fuel to work with. And of course, I still have my secret weapon. Oh, yeah, that's not surprising. Um, I stream every night pretty much. My Thursday, Friday streams are Kerbal Space Program. My Monday, Tuesday streams are Factorio. Saturday, I've started doing Master of Orion, the new one. Of course, I think the original was before your time, so no offense. But the original was 20 years ago. So this is the latest installment in that particular franchise. Let me see. Um, Wednesday and Sunday, Wednesday night, Sunday morning, um, my best friend and I get together and do multiplayer streams. Last couple of weeks, we've been doing a Civ 5 game. There's nothing wrong with liking science games, trust me. When I actually first heard about this one, I was friggin' pumped. But then again, I grew up during the '80s. Ah, okay. But yeah, my best friend and I do are doing a Civ 5 stream right now until we finish that game. We recently conquered Gandhi to keep him from going Democrat and nuking the hell out of us. Uh, Next thing up, I'm probably going to go ahead and conquer Brazil because I've gotten tired of them stealing my tech. There's nothing wrong with that, in all honesty. I was classified as a nerd when I was a kid. Okay. Now let me get facing prograde, and then I can use my secret weapon, provided that, yeah, I've got power. So why are we not turning worth a flip, boys and girls? Yeah, well, tell that to the jocks out there. Oh, we're not turning with a flip because we still have some time acceleration going. Okay. And now it is time to slow down. So I'm going to face prograde and do this. And then I can get rid of that thing and expose my heat shield. Now I'm going to face retrograde and towards the planet a bit and see if maybe, just maybe, I can actually get a proper frigging orbit out of this. Yeah. I looked at my SS and I'm like, wait a minute, grayed out? Time warp. Okay. I'm actually getting a little bit better thrust now since I got rid of that solid rocket booster. As I said, this is more or less the same design I used to get a probe into an orbit of Gilly, so it should be able to do this without too much trouble. I'm actually going to cut thrust and come in and then continue this. Not too terribly far off from my desired orbit, which is nice. I managed Orbit of Eve. Cool. It's the first part of my Explore Eve mission. Okay. Need that to come down to about 20 million overall. Okay, let me just go ahead and get myself... Okay, that is an ascending node, which means that I need anti-normal. And there it is. Unfortunately, I know for a fact that I'm going to have to chase the damn thing. Okay. Four, three, two. Close a frigging enough. Let me see. Come around to there and thrust retrograde a little bit. And it should give me what I need to match this frigging orbit. Okay, now we have that one. Now I need to get some science data transmitted back, and I'm going to use my trusty thermometer if I can find the damn thing. Log temperature, transmit data. Yeah, I've already transmitted this kind of data before, so it's just good for the mission. Okay. Now I need to get myself onto the surface of Eve. Unfortunately, I'm halfway expecting this to be a really frigging bumpy ride. Come on, hold out. Just give me enough friggin' fuel to get through with this. may end up having to aero brake several times for this whole thing. I'm trying to land. I'm just trying to remember how thick Eve's atmosphere actually is, because I don't want to go diving too deep. I've done that before. It's generally a nasty thing. Okay. Now. Yeah, I know, but fortunately, since I managed to get a atmospheric insertion, I can use the last of it to chop off as much of my uh, apoapsis as possible and use aero braking on the rest of it. I just don't want to go diving too deep at first, or it will seriously screw me over. Okay, let me get myself facing retrograde at the moment, and then we can speed things up a little bit and I didn't hit a mountain the first time. I tried doing aero braking and I dove too deep and my entire ship overheated and went boom. It sucked. It sucked royally. I want to see when the transition is there. Because it may be the same as it is on Kerbin, but I don't think so. Yeah, it's not. Oh! That sucked. Damn it. Ugh. All of that shit. That is annoying as hell. Fuck it. Revert to Space Center. I managed to finish off a couple of missions, so at least I don't have to worry about that again. I managed to get some science, but nothing really too terribly useful. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed watching me fail horribly tonight. um, as I mentioned already, I'll be back tomorrow night with Master of Orion, and hope to see you there. I should have the video up in about an hour. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, support us on Patreon. Bye.